对，我最喜欢中文课，因为我觉得中国的文化很有意思，和我最喜欢我的老师。
So a few months ago, I checked out the Vasco V4 Translator, and today we're checking out the new flagship Vasco Q1 Translator. And this time around, I think I need a language expert to help me put it to the test. So I've got my language expert here, also known as my niece. She speaks a few different languages, but we're going to start off with French. So can you tell me what grade you're in and some of the classes that you're currently studying, and also how old you are?
Pouvez-vous me dire dans quelle classe vous êtes? Quels sont les cours que vous suivez actuellement et quel âge vous avez?
Ok, j'ai 16 ans. J'ai fait beaucoup de différentes classes. D'abord, je suis en 11e année. J'aime faire la biologie, mais j'ai une classe de mathématiques, j'ai une classe de chinois, anglais, français et études sociales.
Okay, I'm 16. Oh, I've done a lot of different classes. First, I'm in 11th grade. I like biology, but I have a math class, and I have Chinese, English, French, and social studies.
And you also speak Mandarin. Can you tell me what you like about Chinese class?
现在我们正在测试另一种语言，你能告诉我你喜欢中文课的哪些方面吗？
对，我最喜欢中文课，因为我觉得中国的文化很有意思，和我最喜欢我的老师。我的老师很好。
I like Chinese class the most because I think Chinese culture is very interesting and I like my teacher the most. My teacher is very nice.
Yes.
Okay, so that was accurate.
Yeah, that was accurate.
All right. Second question, is this something you could see yourself using? I know you travel out of the country quite a bit.
Yes, I think I could because first it's very compact rather than like a phone, and like Google Translate and things like that usually aren't very like correct. Like it just translate literally, but you need to like change the way that it's formed for like it to make sense.
Yeah.
So I would probably use that.
So the thing that's really cool about these Vasco translators is that they come with built-in SIM cards that give you free lifetime internet access in nearly 200 countries. There's no hidden fees, no subscriptions, like no setup. You take it out of the box and you have access to the internet. You don't have to worry about data plans, roaming charges, any of those sorts of things. Now, to be clear, there is no web browser or like social media apps on here. You can't check your email, can't check your Instagram, nothing like that. The internet connection is strictly for translation. But it does mean that no matter where you are, you'll always be able to communicate. And if you're curious as far as which countries are supported, you can actually go on Vasco's website and check. They have like a full list. You can type in whatever country or location you're looking for, and it'll tell you if it's supported. Now, the device is also Wi-Fi compatible, so if you're going to be in a hotel, a cafe, or even at home, you can definitely take advantage of that. Now, one of the main standout features when it comes to the Q1 is something called My Voice. If you noticed earlier in the video, the translations sounded surprisingly similar to my actual voice. And that's because you can record a short voice sample, and Vasco uses that to clone the tone of your voice. So when it speaks, it sounds more like you. It makes the conversations feel more natural and personal.
现在我们正在测试另一种语言，你能告诉我你喜欢中文课的哪些方面吗？
And then for the person that you're talking to, there's just a preset male and female voice option to choose from. And also, just a note, the My Voice feature currently supports select languages. So just something to keep in mind. So when it comes to using the device, it's super straightforward. Once you pick your languages, which you have over 80 options to choose from, all you have to do is use the buttons on the right side. You've got two dedicated microphone buttons. One is for you and the other is for the person that you're speaking with. And it even has a light bar at the top that shows whose turn it is to talk. And that just helps the conversation flow naturally. You'll also notice the speaker section at the top. And then over on the right side again, you'll have the power button. And then when it comes to the left side, that's where you have your volume rocker. On the bottom, you've got your USB-C charging port. And then on the back, you've got a built-in camera. Now, one of the Q1's most impressive features is automatic mode. Of course, again, you can just use the dedicated buttons on the side to go back and forth with the person that you're talking to. But if you want something more natural, more hands-free, all you have to do is press the button near the bottom and let the device listen and translate automatically. The only rule is you have to make sure that you take turns speaking. You and the person that you're talking to can't talk at the same time. And this is just really useful for like longer conversations, whether you're talking to a friend, a relative, a coworker. You can just kind of sit down and talk naturally without constantly touching the device. And because it uses AI to interpret and translate, it feels smooth and intuitive. Another feature I absolutely love is that every translation is saved. So you can go back and listen to past conversations at any time, or you can even email a PDF transcript, which is perfect for students, professionals, or anyone needing to document meetings or interviews in multiple languages. Accuracy is another big selling point. One of the main complaints when it comes to Google Translate is that it can sound a little bit too literal. Sometimes the words are right, but the meaning just feels a little off. The Q1 fixes that by using multiple translation engines powered by AI to ensure that the phrasing actually makes sense in context. So you're not just getting word for word translations, you're getting natural speech that sounds authentic. The Q1 also includes photo and text translation. So let's say you're traveling abroad and you see a sign or a menu you don't understand. You can just point the camera, take a photo, and it'll translate the text. It supports over 110 languages for photo translations alone, making it one of the most versatile options in that regard. The interface works a lot like a smartphone. You can pinch to zoom, and everything you capture is saved for later. There's also a handy text translation mode for quiet environments. For example, if you're attending a lecture with a friend and you want to type back and forth, maybe ask each other some questions, you can easily do that without being overly noisy. Now, when it comes to design, the Q1, it feels premium. It's also super compact. Compared to the Vasco V4, this one is shorter and a little bit wider, which does fit more comfortably in the hand, at least in my opinion. It's noticeably smaller than a smartphone, which is great because nobody wants to feel like they're carrying around two phones. And the surface has this soft silicone-like finish that feels very comfortable to hold. And it's also dust-proof and splash-proof, so it's built for on-the-go use. Inside the box, you'll find a USB-C charging cable, as well as a lanyard. And if the color purple isn't really your vibe, they do have other color options to choose from. Another big highlight is call translation. You can actually make phone calls directly from the device. And for this feature, it supports real-time translation in up to 53 languages. Smartphones have similar functionality these days, but the difference is that Vasco offers more language options. And to start with, the Q1 comes with 10 free minutes of call translation, and you can easily purchase more in small increments whenever you need them. The Q1 also supports Bluetooth, so you can pair it with earbuds or headphones for private conversations. There's even a group chat feature that lets you connect with other Vasco users, plus a profanity filter that can automatically clean up any offensive words. There's even a language learning mode that quizzes you on vocabulary, which is a pretty clever way to get more familiar with new languages. And one feature I really appreciate is the screen lock. It just keeps your translation history private in case someone else picks up the device. As far as battery life, you can expect roughly 2 days per charge depending on usage, and it also supports fast charging, so keeping it topped off every other day is pretty simple. Now, a lot of people think a smartphone is more than enough to use as a translator these days, and for occasional casual use, I would agree with that. But if you're someone that depends on accurate communication on a daily basis, maybe you're studying abroad, or maybe you work in healthcare, or you manage guests from all over the world, a dedicated translator like the Q1 is a much more viable option in my opinion. For one, it's more reliable and it's designed specifically for real-world conversations, not just quick translations. Again, for international students, professionals, or even frequent international travelers, I think this is a very appealing device. It could just make your life a whole lot easier. So that's my look at the new Vasco Q1 Translator. If you're interested, make sure you check out the link in the description and use the code on the screen to save 10%. If this video helped you out, do me a favor, hit the like button. Also consider subscribing to the channel for more videos just like this. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.